Hello, third graders. This is Mrs. Oyster, and today I get to teach you the first lesson of our geometry unit. So here are our learning targets for today. First, I will identify polygons, and if you're not familiar with that word polygons, I am about to tell you what it means, and to describe the attributes of polygons. Remember, the word attributes means ways to describe something. So when we were learning about animals at the beginning of the year, we talked about the characteristics of the different vertebrate groups, and we described them. This is kind of the same thing. We're going to describe attributes of different groups of polygons. So let's get started. Let's start here and look at these three shapes, and I bet when you look at these, you know what the shapes are without me even telling you. And the reason you know is because you are automatically checking the attributes of the shapes. So think to yourself, what names would you give these three shapes? Hopefully you said triangle, square, and rectangle. This is a triangle, and this is a square, and this is a rectangle. And the reason you probably knew those names is because you looked at the attributes. You knew a triangle has 3 sides and 3 angles. You knew a square has 4 equal sides and 4 right angles. And you knew a rectangle has 4 sides and 4 right angles, but not necessarily 4 equal sides. Those are pretty common shapes that kids typically know. And as you can see, geometry is the study of shapes and figures. So geometry, you do study more shapes than polygons, but for today, we are focusing on polygons. So let's talk about what polygons are. A polygon is a closed shape with 3 or more angles. It also has to have straight sides. Okay, so a polygon is a closed shape with straight sides and 3 or more angles or 3 or more sides. Now, what is a side? A side is any line segment used to form a polygon. So if you look at this one down here, these are the sides. There are 4 sides. The line segment is the section of the line that's bound by 2 endpoints. So what that means is this side is actually a line segment because the line doesn't go on and on and on forever. It ends here. Okay, and so that's a line segment forming the sides of this rectangle. The angles are what are formed when 2 sides meet. And you can see my messy drawing here. Let me see if I can pull out a different color to show you. Let's try with this pink color, if it'll let me. So the angle is the space inside where 2 sides meet, okay? It's inside the corner. So this is the angle. It's the space between these 2 sides. Now there's another word that's not on here that I want to make sure you know, and that's the word corner. And that is where the 2 sides come together. This point right here is called a corner. You might also hear these words. Sometimes it's called a vertex. Same thing, just a fancier word. And sometimes when you're talking about more than one vertex, we call them vertices. That's the plural form of it. So this shape, if we're using our vocabulary, is a polygon because it has 4 straight sides and it is a closed shape. It has 4 sides, like I just said. It has 4 angles and it has 4 corners or 4 vertices. So these attributes, bear with me one second. There we go. Okay. So these attributes help us determine if something is or is not a polygon. So remember what I said about polygons. They have straight sides and they are closed shapes. So I'm going to show you some figures and I want you to tell me if they are polygons or not. Let's start with this one. Is this a polygon? Yes, it is. It's a shape that is closed. There's no openings and it has straight sides. How about this one? No, this one is not a polygon because even though it is closed, it has a curved side, and polygons need to have straight sides. And how about this one here? Move it up a little bit so you can see. Yep, that is a polygon. It has 3 straight sides, and it is a closed shape. All right, let me put my screen shade back up. How about these? Let's start with these 2 right here. Are these polygons? No, these are not polygons because, first of all, they are curved. They're not straight. And second of all, they're not closed shapes. They're open. There's this big gap right here. So those cannot be polygons. This one? Yes, this is a polygon. Okay, this is a polygon because it has straight sides and it is closed. And then last, this one. That is not a polygon. It is not a polygon because it is curved. It does not have straight sides. Okay, so here is the vocabulary page that is also in your packet. It's on page 2. There is one word that's not on your packet. You might want to add. It's down at the bottom, but let's go over these words. A polygon is a closed shape with 3 or more angles, and it has straight sides. It does not say straight sides right here, but you might want to add that on your notes. And we classify polygons into these groups based on their attributes. So first, we have polygons that are triangles. Triangles are polygons with 3 straight sides and 3 angles. Here's some examples of triangles. Pentagons are polygons with 5 straight sides and 5 angles. Hexagons are polygons with 6 straight sides and 6 angles. So here's some of those. Octagons are polygons with 8 straight sides and 8 angles. And then quadrilateral is the one I'd like you to add. That's kind of a mouthful. The word quadrilateral is a closed shape, a polygon, with 4 straight sides and 4 angles. And there are many different kinds of quadrilaterals that we have more specific names for. We will get into that in tomorrow's lesson. For today, we're going to call all the polygons with 4 sides quadrilaterals. So if you would like to pause for a moment, you may, and add this to the bottom of your notes sheet, which is in page 2 of your packet. All right, so let's look at these a little more closely. Triangles. They're polygons, they have 3 sides, and they have 3 angles. So I can identify these as triangles based on these attributes. They both have 3 sides, they both have 3 angles. Quadrilaterals are polygons with 4 sides and 4 angles. Pentagons are polygons with 5 sides and 5 angles. Hexagons are polygons with 6 sides and 6 angles. And octagons are polygons with 8 sides and 8 angles. Now, I'm going to show you a little trick, or tell you a little trick to remember these names, because these are a lot of words. It's a lot of vocabulary to try and memorize. I remember hexagon means 6 because hexagon has an X, and the word 6 has an X. So that's how I remember hexagon is the one with 6 sides. Octagon I remember because I know the word octopus, and an octopus has 8 tentacles, and an octagon has 8 sides. Now, pentagon. I have not come up with a cool trick to remember that pentagon means 5 sides and 5 angles. I just had to memorize it. So if you are able to come up with a cool way to remember pentagon means 5, let me know, because I have not yet come up with one. So let's practice. I apologize for these being uncovered. All right, take a look at this shape. I want you to look at its attributes. How many sides does it have? How many corners does it have? How many angles does it have? Okay, so count. How many sides does this shape have? Hopefully you said 5. How many angles does this shape have? 5. And so the name of this shape would be pentagon. Very good. Now here, when I started, I had all these shapes at the bottom, and I sorted them into groups based on their attributes. I sorted them into a triangle group, a quadrilateral group, and a pentagon group. I won't make you sit and watch me do that one more time. These are all triangles because why? They all have 3 sides and they all have 3 angles. These are all quadrilaterals because they all have 4 sides and 4 angles. And these are all pentagons, even though some of them are kind of funny looking, because they all have 5 sides and 5 angles. And this is where I want to caution you. When you're looking at a shape that's kind of a weird looking shape, maybe this green one here or this one down here, it's always a good idea to manually count the sides, because if you just look and you go, oh, I think that looks like 4 sides, it could be wrong. For instance, this one, when I first glanced at it, I thought it was a quadrilateral. It looks like it has 4 sides. But then when I counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I saw that it's actually a pentagon. Same with this one down here. It kind of looks like it could be a 4-sided figure, but then I counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I saw it was in fact a pentagon. On this page, I had some shapes that I sorted into groups: pentagons, hexagons, and octagons. So remember, pentagons have 5 sides, hexagons have 6 sides, there's that X, and then octagons have 8. This is another example of where it's important to count because some of these shapes are not obviously pentagons, hexagons, or octagons, like this one. This one I had to count. I put my cursor here and said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and figured out that it had 6 sides. So I sorted these based on the number of sides and then identified which polygon group they belong to. So your task today is on page 3 in your packet. It is front and back. It may also be in your Google Classroom. I know some of the teachers have created like a Google Doc or a Google Forms version, so just make sure you listen to your teacher's instructions and complete it how they wish. What you are going to do is look at several polygons, identify the polygon that it is, and then write the attributes that tell you why it is that polygon. So this first one is done for you, and it's done for you in the packet as well. This shape right here is called a pentagon. And the reason I know it's called a pentagon is because it has these attributes. And this is the most important part, is where you list these attributes. So please do it. It's a polygon. It's a closed shape with 3 or more angles, and it has straight sides. It has 5 sides and it has 5 angles. These attributes are what make it a pentagon. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more shapes you're going to look at. I want you to look at the attributes and list them. And it can be real short. It can be polygon, 4 sides, 4 angles, and then write the name of the shape. You will probably want to use your notes page on page 2 to help you, and then submit it to your teacher. So nice job. Thanks for listening, class. Tomorrow we're going to learn more about quadrilaterals, and we're going to learn some of the different kinds of quadrilaterals that fall into that category. All right. Thank you for listening, and good luck with your work.